And what is that?
So this is actually one of the Handel arrangements I was talking about. This is the piece Pasacaya, which, if I'm not mistaken, was originally written as a violin and viola duet when George Friedrich Handel was alive, which I'm pretty sure was the 1800s.
Okay.
My music history professor is screaming, but I graduated years ago, so yes, it's one of my favorites.
Why?
Well, a number of reasons. I have been refining this piece since I was, I think, a sophomore or junior in high school, so it's got an awful lot of nostalgia for me, and it's in my favorite key.
What is your favorite key?
B flat minor, and then the corresponding major, D flat major.
Because?
Because, again, a number of reasons. I love these questions. So, harps sound the best when we are in keys with flats in them,
Okay.
not so much sharps, because as you make notes sharper, there's more mechanical bits touching the string. So the sound rings better in flat keys. That's D flat major, baby.
What is it about performing that really gets you? Because I just remember when I was doing one thing on stage, and man, I was killing it. Everything was working, and I was so high. It's like, is that what you get? And when it really something's really good you're playing?
Absolutely. I hope this doesn't sound pretentious, but there's any number of ways you can define it. I realized when I was pursuing a harp performance degree, which is when you're the most in it and whatnot. Graduated in 2020, and this is still stuck with me. All performing is just convincing the audience of something. So I am convincing the audience in Pasacaya, for instance. It opens with a very, not quite archaic, but like a French overture style of rhythm.
Okay.
It sounds bombastic, it sounds regal and very proud of itself.
But you do what with it?
And I convince the audience to come on a journey with me of, oh, we've got this bombastic regal pride, and then we go through an awful lot of turmoil, but we emerge triumphant in the end.
So you can bring that to the audience. They can
I
realize
hope so.
that.
I try.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Music feeds a very, very deep primal part of us that sometimes doesn't get its satisfaction from anything else. Music, theater, poetry, you name it. But yeah, I believe I hope I am helping feed a very deep part of people that needs that satiation. Because I know it does that for me.
Wow. Do you teach as well?
No.
Because you did really an example of teaching today that I saw that was great. I mean, I love hearing how things work.
I love explaining how this works.
What it does, how you do it, and you're changing things. You're putting your hand in it and doing this, and your feet on the pedals, and you change your shoes because what?
So I love having formal but casual audiences like this because if you'll notice, these shoes have a bit of a thick bottom.
Okay.
I just got them today, and I didn't realize that the thick bottom would interfere with me being able to feel my pedals.
Oh.
So obviously, when I'm playing, which isn't the right way around, I am not looking at my pedals.
Okay.
It's all by feel.
Right.
I have to look at the strings and the music.
Yeah.
So that is why I had to change shoes, because these are not, they're not it, not yet.
No. Can you work the shoes into it? Can you make them?
Oh, absolutely. I might have to shave the bottoms a little.
It's not physical playing it. It's keep playing it. That it changes it too, or not?
The shoes will not change like the tone of the strings or any of the musical content at all. It was just causing me some hesitance since I couldn't get the feeling that I'm used to, because I've been playing in those other shoes for longer than I'd like to admit. It's time for them to go.
Oh. So do you have favorite shoes?
Yes, those.
Oh, okay.
They're nasty, crusty old things, but they don't look it,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot play in other shoes yet. Apparently, if you talk to a pianist or an organist, especially special organist shoes,
Right.
they'll have the same thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess, yeah, because you got to make sure all your senses are active and ready to go. And what happens if they're not ready? Is it like really noticeable to you or the audience, or?
All of my mistakes, and this is true of just about anyone, all of my mistakes are more noticeable to me than the audience. The audience is getting the whole experience, but not having to put forth any of the effort. And so I'm much more conscious of it because I've been playing this piece, for instance, for almost 10 years now. And so I notice when, I missed that B, or my fingernail caught on that F chord.
And you're like,
That's the hardest part of performing, is live performances are always going to have mistakes. That's what makes it a live performance, but how do you play through it?
and you got a bigger kick out of it.
Okay.
Now, is it playing different for different audiences? Smaller, bigger? What do you normally play? What size audiences for?
Well, since, even though the pandemic's not technically over, I will say since COVID broadly, restrictions have come down a lot, and live music is a thing again.
Yeah.
Has been since mid-21, mid-22. I've been asserting myself in Roanoke as a gig musician, so I tend to play a lot of weddings, corporate parties, private events. And so my audience is usually anywhere from 50 to 150, maybe 200. I got to play a pretty large wedding down at the Vinton War Memorial a couple weeks ago. I'd say that's the largest I've had this year, roughly 200 guests or so.
Do you have to be amplified then?
Nope. Asterisk. Depends on the venue. If there's not great acoustics, usually if it's an indoor space, don't need amplification. If it's an outdoor space with bad acoustics or whatnot, sometimes I'll prefer to be mic'd, but I don't own my own amplification equipment since I don't have an electric harp that would need that.
Would you play an electric harp?
It's a dream. Yes, there are some. I'm a metalhead,
Okay.
believe it or not.
Oh my God.
I think it's important to appreciate every
Yes,
genre of
yes,
music.
yes. So you listen to other music?
Oh yeah! Are you kidding me? Of course. I mean, of course, I love my film scores. I love my video game music, especially. I played a piece from Hollow Knight. If you were in here earlier, I'm not sure.
Oh my God.
One of my favorite games of all time. But yeah, it really depends on the venue. In answer to your original question.
Yeah. So what would you prefer to see happen? I mean, as you advance in your career, are you looking forward to something, or is it going to come as it does? Or you say, hey, I'd like to try that.
I'd love to get to play with a real orchestra again.
Ooh.
Regularly. That was one of my greatest privileges. Spending 5 years in undergrad as I did, I was able to play with my college's orchestra for a very long time.
Got those solos too, didn't you?
One or two, but for me it's not even about the solos, it's about contributing to the texture of the orchestra overall. I have started, hopefully I get to continue, I got to play with the Valley Chamber Orchestra, which does a bunch of their concerts at Hollins University, but is their own entity apart from Hollins.
Okay.
Got to play with them recently. Playing with the Roanoke Symphony Orchestra is, of course, the dream. But
David Wiley?
I'm currently too busy to try and audition for the principal. I don't have the time to prepare the repertoire, honestly.
What would it take?
I would have to check what the audition rep is for the current season.
It changes.
I believe so, for most orchestras. In my experience, anyway.
What was the hardest audition? Did you audition for other things, orchestras, chamber, anything? They said,
Hardest audition I've ever had? Back when the university I went to, we had a really robust harp program for a year or two. There were 11 of us at one point, 1 year, and auditioning for the Waltz of the Flowers, the infamous, that was great. You don't need to cut that at all. That was, we all liked each other a lot, but I could feel the cutthroat vibes.
Oh,
It was great.
oh.
I got it, and I was shocked to beat out some of those ladies. Everyone was incredible. But
Did they take it well?
I don't know. Southern women are great at hiding that.
Are you based where? Here?
I'm based in Roanoke, yeah. I'm a proud resident of downtown. I actually, the only reason I'm here is because of one of the wonderful artists in residence at Left of Center Art Gallery,
Oh,
Patty.
okay.
Patty Capel.
Oh, well, was here just a second ago. Okay.
Yeah, my husband and I absolutely love Left of Center. We own a piece.
Where is that again?
Left of Center, right downtown on Campbell,
Okay.
in the same area as Sidewinders, if you're familiar with them.
Okay.
Pretty close to the Vault restaurant as well.
What do you like about this area? Do you think it needs something else?
Any number of public works
Mhm.
you could list off the top of your head, and I would say, yeah, Roanoke needs more of that. We need better public transportation. We need better support for those facing housing crises, of which there are so many, because our mission is great, but they also have very strict rules that not everyone can or is willing to, who would need to be there, can be there. That sentence was a mess, but you get the gist.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I will say Roanoke is definitely my favorite place I've lived. I spent 5 years in Lynchburg when I was an undergrad, grew up in North Georgia aside from that, and then little teeny town in Cleveland, Ohio before that. So I can say that I've experienced a number of different places to live.
What was the reason for there and here? And
Yeah, oh sorry, I took you backwards. Let me take you forward. From the start. Born in Avon Lake, Ohio, aka nowhere, swiftly achieved every Ohioan's dream of vanishing from Ohio. At the ripe age of, I think, 7, we moved to North Georgia for my dad's job.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Ex-Navy and now in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in North Georgia. That actually ties into, perfect segue, how I started to learn the harp.
Aha.
So,
And?
my mother is a first-generation American. Her dad, who has sadly passed on now, may his memory be a blessing, Grandpa Jim, very tough old Irishman and extremely proud of his Irish heritage. And
Did he come over here?
He did. He came over here, he made a life for himself, and he would go back to Ireland as often as possible. I actually have a book of, I don't have it with me today, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I have a book of some of his favorite music that he gave me as a gift once.
Oh, wow. I love stuff handed down from... Not enough. Not enough.
That's incredible. I never got to play it for him, unfortunately. His health turned rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so my parents started all of us, I'm so grateful that they did, on piano lessons, me and my 2 older brothers. They started us on piano very young and made sure that we kept with it as long as possible. I had gotten fed up with piano, and when we moved to Georgia...
So you learned on the piano first?
I learned piano first, yes, which is pretty similar to harp in that we use the same staff. So we use the grand staff. We've got treble clef, bass clef.
Oh, okay. That's why I look familiar. I survived
You survived!
piano lessons and organ lessons. I know. I should have stuck with one or the other.
You can always pick it back up. There's no dog too old
I
to
played
learn
that
new
last.
tricks.
Okay, is this good enough? Okay. Out.
But we only use 4 fingers as opposed to piano's 5.
Oh.
This finger is too weak to pluck a string. Poor old pinky. It's just keeps the 4th finger company.
How were you inspired by the harp? Did somebody else play the harp? Did you?
No one else in my family played the harp, but it was all thanks to Grandpa Jim, my mom's dad. He was just... I was at the perfect age where, as his health sort of started to get a little worse, causing him to spend more time with family, I got to spend more time with him and hear all about his Irish culture and history and our family's history.
Wow.
Of course, his name was Jim Malone. You'll never find him because there's 1,000 Jim Malones in Ireland. And so I just became fascinated by, the harp is on a lot of flags you'll see displayed in Ireland. The twice I've got to go there, that is. And I thought it was a beautiful instrument, and without knowing anything else, I proudly marched up to my mom one day and said, "Mom, I want to learn to play the harp." And she made me wait a year to make sure I was serious about it, and then found me a teacher, and I have been playing ever since. Only thought about quitting 2 or 3 times.
Wow. Phew, this is wonderful.
Thank you.
I don't want to take. I know you got to. It's that time to leave. You got to do stuff. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Oh, give me your information so we can put this online and say your Facebook, your whatever things, so they know how to get in touch with you.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a website. It's ashlandw-harp.com. Real simple. And there's a contact form on my website if anyone's looking for events that they like played. I do all number of private events, and you can find clips and pictures from my recent events there as well. But yeah, hit me up via that contact form. That way I'll be able to email back and forth with you.
Is it Gmail too?
Yes, girlwithharp@gmail.com. I do prefer that people go through the contact form, though,
Okay.
just because spam filters exist, and I want to make sure I get your contact.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. This has been amazing.
Bye.